Start off.
Okay.
We're recording.
Great.
Okay. So so I'll explain again the things that I will add to the names contract that is used by the DAPI name system. So now I will use Chrome. Okay, let me get the cheat sheet. Rolling cheat sheet. Okay. So basically, in the contract that handles name name purchase and name update, everything is referenced in this channel, which is called entry. And depending on the payload that is sent to it, we call the create channel, the update channel, or the change price channel. So, and then we expose this channel to the registry. So I think this is the issue right here. I must do a bundle plus, so people are only allowed to send data to this channel and not listen to it. Do you are you checking also, Jim? Do you agree or?
I'm sorry?
I think you're muted.
No, I'm not muted. What was the question?
So this is the entry channel where you can send a payload to purchase or to update a name. And here there is no bundle plus. So I think I must add a bundle plus so people can only write to this channel and not listen to it.
Right. Otherwise, anybody can write a contract that listens on that channel.
Yeah. Okay. So in order for yes. So I will absolutely add those restrictions also on this channel. And yes. So that's it. And I talked also. So I will yes. I will talk about the feature that I will add in DAPI. So in DAPI, as you know, there is a name system. So there is lots of names that anyone can purchase and be the owner of. So, for example, RChain, gaming, WeChat. So basically, my idea is to use the name system in an extended manner and not just for website or files distribution. Right now, the name system is only used for websites and names. And my idea is simply to allow people to use the name system as also a digital identity name system. So basically, the basic feature is the possibility to send revs, to send cryptocurrencies to any name you know. For example, if your friend is Joe, J-O-E, and he owns this name, you know that he owns the name. So basically, you will be able to select this name or simply input it to Joe. And when you hit send transaction, it finds this name in the list. Or if it's not in the list, it does a lookup request. And if it exists, of course, it sends the transaction to the corresponding address, which is the rev address, which is not, of course, the blockchain address. Blockchain address is the address of the file that must be displayed when we hit enter here. So this is another usage of the name system, and basically I think it's cool because it will make things more kind of liquid and very easy to play with, because basically it's just like with the regular web, with legacy web. It is just like if you had the possibility on any website to send like 2 revs in 2 clicks. So this is basically the feature. Eventually, there also could be a button in the top of every website. And this way you can just very quickly send any amount you want to any website you visit. So basically those are the things I'm thinking of.
Yeah, this is cool for feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because I have the name system, so I thought, how about why shouldn't we use it for other purpose than file distribution? So basically that's it. And I had a last improvement, but I think I forgot. No, I think I forgot. So I might be talking about it later.
Can I ask you?
Yes, go ahead.
About the names. I see two different type of names and 2 different like patterns of names. One is very similar to rev address, and this other one with 36, starting with 36 is different. Do you have 2 different ways of generating like hash or?
So basically, when I launched the name system, I pre-reserved top 100 websites. So there is this one, Adobe, Amazon. So I wanted people who hit Google in the P not to have an error. So basically, I just uploaded a file that says this name is pre-reserved, and I linked all the names to this file. So this is why you have the same blockchain address for all the, because the green ones are the names I own, and the gray ones are the names that other people own.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So you'll always get something, right?
Yeah, because
nice.
Yes, I think they have been buying names, but they didn't link it to anything. So if we try gambling, I think we'll have an error. Yes, we have an error.
There is no file.
And moreover, since I updated the rolang files module contract for last release, they might be names that worked before, but now they don't work because the resource does not follow the new files module protocol.
Oh, your new contract in the registry, right?
Yeah, basically I just simplified everything so that there is only no, it's not that one. Files module. I just simplified everything because there were 2 channels, one for reading and one for updating, but it was very much useless because we can do everything with one channel. So basically right now the files module, it exposes a read channel just to read to have this value that includes the owner public key, the nonce, and the URI itself, and also the list of the files. So you can read the files through the C channel as you use for add or update files.
You send, this is like action that you send.
Yes,
what
it's
you want,
Redux, Redux style. So there is only one channel exposed to the registry. So this is handy because as a developer, you just have to manipulate. If you know this registry URI, you can do anything: read files, add files, update files. So this is an improvement in last release of the API. So this is why previous files that have been uploaded, I guess they don't work anymore.
So, but you still have the previous contract in the registry. How do you manage like different versions, or did you think about that?
So the name system, I have re-uploaded this contract with the new protocol. So I have re-uploaded this file following the O.4 files module. I have linked it to the top 100 names. And for other names, I have just copied them in the new name system. So this was 1 week ago, I think, or 10 days. So basically, this is why it is absolutely sure that they don't follow the O.4 protocol, but of course, people are still owner of those names, so they can update them to unlink link them to the file module instance that follows the same protocol. But yes, I talked to a user that I think he bought some names, but since I will remove the case I will change it to be not case sensitive. So basically, there won't be any uppercase anymore. So a lot of names will disappear in next deploy.
Yeah, this makes sense.
This is I didn't check if I had answers in rolang in Discord, but I asked a question about lower casing strings. Maybe I can check because I need to. Yes, so yes, Jimmy, he answered.
Has to be done in the client.
Yes, okay.
You know, that's a nice job for someone to write string functions for rolang. That seems like it would be an easy job for someone.
Yeah, you're right. But I just wanted to say, maybe now it's not so easy as it should, but it's definitely not hard. And in the future, we should prepare for community to add something or just to create PR, and we can discuss it, because we need lots of these functions that are or primitives or helper functions. So
yes.
So in the code, this is just like switch case with checking all of the methods that can be applied for some type. So it shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, we're definitely missing.
Yes, there is interpolation, I think, and few stuff. Slice. Okay.
So maybe I can find where you can look, to see what functions do you have.
I know it, I've seen it, but I couldn't find it. I tried to look for the source. Searching in GitHub can be a nightmare. You would think it would be easy. I mean,
yeah, in the editor is a little easier because you can also search semantically.
Yeah, I was searching. Oh, yeah, that's true. In the editor. Yeah, I have to get that visual.
IntelliJ. If you want to load the project like Scala project, IntelliJ is very nice. And I will start with sessions about how to configure the project and everything. So that's my plan.
Can you use Visual Studio?
It is possible, but I think with IntelliJ it is more powerful and it's easier to use. Like for example, we can much more easier to run tests or this kind of stuff. And
Right.
Visual Studio Code, it works, but it doesn't have all of this, mouse.
You were able to,
options.
yeah, you were able. Okay, that's. I didn't know that. I was trying to bring up Visual Studio.
But to work with the project, it is not always everything straightforward. So this is why I would like to create some kind of setup that you can very easily install what you need, and usual errors to see what are the usual errors, and so that you can continue, and also Arthur told me that with Bloop a compilation is a little faster. So I'm also using this Bloop, and to install this Bloop is also not straightforward. So
It's install what?
Bloop. This is it is not compiler. It is like managing the projects in the Scala projects, and it uses SBT, but it's like some kind of addition to SBT, and probably it has some kind of caching, and it also you run it as a server on your machine. So
Yeah, it's.
but if you
It'll be nice when the environment matures and you can just say build or something and have the whole thing done.
yeah, it's not much more than that.
Yeah.
But documentation that we now have in the repo, for example, doesn't use Nix, and with Nix it's much more easier to install everything. So my recommendation is to install Nix, and Nix is a package manager, and with Nix you can install all of the other stuff, and you can exactly say build in SBT and everything.
So Tomislav, you were thinking about putting together some type of presentation, for developers on how to set up their system. As far as when you would have time for that, would that be after working on finalization or after the tri-merge? When is that? When would you want to do an IntelliJ presentation?
Well, I would like to start, tomorrow. But yeah, I'm looking how to make some time to do this.
Okay.
Because I would like to create every week this session. So
okay.
We can,
So let's just kind of as a group think about that on how that would work, how it would be organized. So I think certainly this would be Jim's room would be a great place to have it. So Jim, do you agree with that? Having it here in your room? Okay. So we'll have it in your room, and then as far as a time available, so we have this hour as a wallet testing and development, but we also have a time in a few hours from now, which is DApp developers, the DApp developer meeting. So one of these two times would be good. My thought is, if sometimes Arvin and others show up and they have something to show for the wallet, but we can decide. I think so certainly Tuesday. There's two times on Tuesday which could potentially work.
Okay, yeah, we can share the same time. So we can do 1 week and then skip another, and until we have more people that are interested. So,
yeah. So, and typically what happens this first hour for the wallet, more people tend to show up. The second hour is a little bit, lighter in attendance. But the beauty is, if it's recorded, hey, I mean, it's there forever. And then, it gets put on Discord. We can put it on Telegram and create a series, or create a playlist on YouTube, so where people can, just go through and watch the whole series. So, there are lots of possibilities.
Yeah, I was thinking that we can record some short videos, just for example to set up the project. So in 10 minutes you have all of the stuff that you need, and you see it immediately. And this can be done by someone else than me, who can do this better than me.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you make a couple good points there. So I think having them topic specific is really good. So it's so we have the series of videos, the playlist, and it's one video setting up nicks. This first thing you do, video one in this, if we want to get really sophisticated, we map out what the whole series is going to be. So it's 10 videos in the series. Each one has a title, and then what we can do is, for instance, we can use me. If you can walk me through everything, and I can create sort of a presentation I have my notes. So so I can give the presentation, and what another aspect is, I'm presenting it from the user standpoint. So you're the creator, you have a perspective, but it's the perspective of, the developer. I have the perspective of, hey, I'm fresh to this, I'm new. What is it that I want to see? And that is that perspective has values, because there's going to be questions that I'm going to think of, that I'm going to work through to try to answer, that I'll have some of those questions that the viewers. So I think that, as we kind of think through this, how we can kind of lay it out. So okay, so why don't we do this? I'll maybe start to create sort of a topic list of topics that select individual videos that you think would be helpful, and we'll start compiling that list. And then once we get 10 or so, or not, we don't necessarily have to get a certain number, but a grouping. We get a grouping that makes logical sense, that this group goes together. Then we can start working on the each video. The content for each video. What is you've got the title, you've got the content, what it's going to be about, and then that knowledge transfer, whether it's to me, to Jim, to Raphael, or to Jim. Transferring that knowledge, and then we'll start, kind of preparing that presentation. So all of this starts to take shape. And I think from the viewer standpoint, they'll appreciate the fact that it's kind of polished and it's professional. It's these videos are great, but these are very impromptu. It's very off the cuff, very free flowing. But a educational video is going to be, I think, one level above. And how do you get to that one level above? It's through preparation. So
yes. So we can definitely practice, and then say, okay, this 10 minutes it's worth of say it's good introduction, right?
Yeah, this 10 minutes was better than the last 10 minutes. This is the one that I want to use. Exactly. Yeah. So, and we're all comfortable with, recording and Zoom and all this. So, I think we're in the age of video education. Everyone's doing their video online, and, this is what it's all about. So, well, good.
And I have prepared instructions. I have this, ready, but I didn't have, exact moment to show or to say, oh, okay, we can do it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, and why don't we here? Let me make sure that everyone has. So in our working group folder, so I'm going to share everyone the folder to the DApp developer folder. So so hopefully, so everyone click on that link. And I think if you may have access already. If you don't, go ahead and request access. So we want to make sure that we start to get everyone access to the tools. And the tools, it's this folder. So this is the DApp developer folder, which will be the Google repository for the preparation for for these videos. So I think the first stop would be Tomislav, is either you can do it or I can do it, is just create a new document. Actually, here, why don't I do it while I'm thinking of it? I'll create a document.
I was also thinking to use some GitHub repo for that, and maybe issues and pull requests on this repository can be like way of communication.
And exactly. So
we can start with Google Docs, and then
so and something that Jim came up with. So we'll use Google Docs as our collaborative drafting of documents, and once we have it finalized, ready for published. So Jim, we need to show there's a Google add-ons which allows you to take the hypertext markup and copy and paste it into GitHub, and it comes out. Everything is formatted. Everything looks professional and polished. So
cool.
We need to. So instead of getting it too I'll take that responsibility of. And our Jim and I, we can move everything once everything's ready for published. Just kind of like a document management process. We work on it in Google Docs collaboratively. When it's ready for published, then we'll do the hypertext copy and paste into the RChain community repository, and that's where the finished product will be.
Nice.
And that's the link that we'll share with the broader community. So the Google Docs is for us to use that as a store of information and sharing ideas and to work collaboratively for working on drafts. And then once we have the draft complete, it's ready to be published, then we move it over to GitHub, and that's where it will reside.
Yeah. Excellent. Yep.
Yeah. So so let's, for instance, so I guess for this series, we want to thinking of names, DApp developer tools presentation or DApp developer setup. Any thoughts on what you want to call this series?
So I'm more focused on to attract developers, Scala developers, to directly understand the RChain code.
Okay.
Because in the future we will have some kind of plugins that you can attach to our node and use some APIs or control our node in this way.
Okay.
So maybe for now, first we will have some Scala libraries that you can plug in, but later we can also do this for other languages.
Gotcha.
For example, for Node.js, it will be nice to if you can write something in Node.js and communicate all the internals with our node.
Okay, so we'll call this first series. This is the Scala developer demos or Scala developer presentation. So you mentioned before that you had some ideas for the individual videos, demos. So if you want to just kind of download, do a mind dump of your ideas, you can put them in this document. And
so I was thinking not very strict in the subjects, for each session, because sometimes people can join one session and the other they cannot, and so I was thinking that this setuping the project should not be only once, right? We can do it this after few sessions. We can start. We can talk about this again, and with new people, and more like questions about the code.
Oh, okay.
So if you're interested in some part of the RChain code, we can talk about that, and because we need to improve lots of different parts of code that we have. So maybe someone can say, "Oh, I can do this," right? So we can find some developers to work on the project.
Yeah. Okay. So what we can have them, it's kind of like on a rotation. So we have our certain topics that we go over, and then we go through them, and just go, once that series is complete, then we go through the series again. And then as we get smarter, we kind of move things around, as needed based on feedback from people. But yeah, I mean, that creates that element of being interactive, knowing that, hey, I not only can I watch the videos, I can go to one of these sessions and have my questions answered live.
Yeah.
So I think now it's, we moved it up one level for, education demonstration, and then having it interactive brings it up even more. Is yet again another level up. So so this is kind of like a, well, I'm going to maybe rephrase this, a Scala educational series, Scala developer yeah, it's more, I think it's more than demonstrations. This is more of a educational series. So
or RChain Scala something, because
okay,
we are focused on RChain code. So
right. Okay, so RChain Scala educational, Scala developer education. Well, so it's not too long. So yeah, here. So as far as a series, just trying to come up with ideas for this first series. So RChain Scala educational series.
Yeah.
So okay.
It's
because I would like that developers, RChain developers, are more connected to the community, right? So that we can have some kind of space where we can meet and talk about like more directly of the code and what we are working on, and so that we can bring this information more to the community.
Okay, so let me propose something, or a topic. So we have the RChain Scala educational series, each week on a Tuesday. Now for the rest of the week, we want to be engaged with people, Scala developers. Now, granted, some of them are going to be outside of the co-op. They're going to be out in the broader community. So, as far as the channels of communication that we have, they call this the asynchronous communication, the ongoing communication. So we have Discord and we have Telegram. Would either of those we want to use? Or I don't know if we want to create a new one. I think if we could use an existing.
I'm seeing Discord like full interactive, right? I mean, it's not that that you are answering immediately, but it is more distracting. So I would like not to go too much to Discord and answering each question, and because in Discord you don't see all of the previous answers, and it's very easy to just repeat the same question.
Yeah.
So,
well,
so I like Google Docs to combine everything.
But I think we need some place for making announcements. For instance, this coming Tuesday in the RChain Scala educational series, we will be covering NICs. So everyone knows, okay, Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the topic is going to be NICs. And if I'm a user, Scala developer, I'm like, oh boy, I want to be there and see that. So what we'll advertise to, and I think the broader community, and I'll have to verify this with Ian, they should have access to, if they connect to the RChain public RChain Discord, they should have access to the developer channel. And if so, that's where we can advertise and announce what's coming up. And then also in the RChain Telegram RChain community, we can announce as well. So this is more of, we want to keep communicating and keeping people informed. So the session, the weekly session, that's where everything, that's where the action happens. That's where everything. But in order to get, it's kind of like, you know, for my for the Casper stand-ups, you know how I announce, you know, each day. And thank you, Lori, for suggesting to announce it on Sunday. So, you know, I announce it beforehand, so people go, oh, hey, you know, that's coming up. I want to be there. So so we'll use those channels as that way. So very good. And then we also have once we want to include the Chinese community as well. Now, granted, there may be a language barrier there, but I think we want to keep them in mind.
Sorry, I didn't say. I will organize this with Will. So two of us will be together doing this series, because it's also easier, and you know, we are, you know, familiar with the code, and we can, you know, split what we can do. And if one of us cannot do 1 week, you know, the other can.
Good. And Lori just happens to be on joining us today, so that was helpful information. So so bringing in the Chinese community and knowing that Will is going to be there. Hey, now that the Chinese community is going to be able to participate in this, and then hey, you know, being able to do it in the Chinese native language, hey, that's yet again an additional level above. So I think it's a matter of coordinating, you know, all these pieces. You know, we want to, you know, for Will, having it prepared so that, you know, Will understands, you know, what the series is, what you know, what each topic is, and then all he needs to do is, you know, like, okay, all that work's done. I just need to, you know, take what I know and put it into Mandarin, or and then I think it's more structured that way. And then perhaps we'll have a separate Chinese language session for, you know, everyone who's more comfortable in that language. So, but those are, you know, things will work out. But I think that's just great. That broadens the audience by having Will participate. So yeah, this is very good.
I think, you know, scale is sort of obvious. I think, you know, we broaden this to RChain development. Then we can cover, you know, whatever is needed. I mean, obviously, scale is needed. The need for scale is significant, but there's also a great need for rolang.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so we basically have two schools. We have Scala, Roadmap, and maybe Python, because so much of the support now is on the periphery is Python. So we,
basically about the Scala. So the form would be weekly sessions. About an hour or maybe more or less, and separated from it, short videos posted on YouTube. Is the goal?
Yeah, we can record these videos as part of the session, right? We can make I was thinking that, you know, I can show how to do it, and someone else can, you know, do the same thing, and, you know, we can record this and, you know.
Except that, you know, unless the different topics are indexed so that you can jump to that part of the video, they're marginally useful. You know, somebody has to watch the whole thing to get one.
Oh, I was thinking that we can
Chop them
create
up.
like like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, just to see what commands do you need to run, and because some people are more like the videos more, you know. So
yes, of course. For example, me, if I want to learn how to compile, I highly prefer a 10 minutes a very clear video with just one man talking than 1 hour sessions.
yeah.
So basically, I think short videos is definitely a good thing to have, and eventually also recorded sessions that are maybe longer and include questions from users.
Yeah. But in this way, we can collect these short videos and have tutorials for some, you know, for some task that you want to do on RChain, and we can, you know, compile this in one document, and, you know, you can find out this information. So this is my goal also.
Great. This
Great.
is going to be good.
Yeah, that's cool. Eventually, I will do if it's posted on YouTube with a I can do a small kind of marketing introduction with the logos of RChain and Scala, so it looks a bit professional,
Nice.
just like the DAPI videos I did with After Effects.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that would be great.
Just so it looks nice, and so it does not look like random session broadcasts.
Yeah. And in the session we can try everything, and, you know, because I'm expecting errors on different machines, and, you know, I don't have this, and because I'm assuming I covered all of the cases, right? You need to install all of these things and everything will work, but you know, there is always a situation when something is not working. So what now? You know, and this is exactly what I want to you know, what I want to find out. What I'm missing, and, you know, what is the complication, and
Good. Yeah, the feedback and how that's so it would be user feedback.
yeah. So and then we can enter all of this information in the RChain repo and improve documentation, and, you know, because if you cannot compile the project, then you cannot do anything, right?
Right.
So this is the first step, that it must be easy, and you know, so you can play with the code and start. So you can start from somewhere.
Yep.
Because, for example, with one command, you can compile a Docker image, right? So this is very nice, because you can change some very small thing in the code, and you can compile your own Docker image, you know, and run it immediately. So or run executable. So
Yes. Okay. And also, no, maybe it could be cool to have sort of an introduction of the Scala, Java relations, because as a noob, I don't understand how it works, the Java VM and all that stuff. So I don't understand
yep.
how Scala relies on Java and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would like to start from this kind of things, and also I'm thinking how to structure the code in a way that it's more approachable to someone who, you know, if you don't, so that you don't need to understand the whole project, right?
Yeah.
So that you can plug in some smaller part, and you know, create some function that, you know, is that we need, or it's better than some previous function, and, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, you learn what you need. You know, like Raphael's question was about string functions. So I looked up, I looked up the hex to bytes, whatever, and I found it in methods.scala, and
Exactly.
I just did a search on GitHub for
Yeah.
to byte array, and so here are string functions. Okay, they seem to be mixed with other kinds of functions in this file, which is a huge file.
Yeah.
Okay, things could be a little better organized.
Exactly. This is what I'm thinking. Yeah, exactly.
I had a harder time trying to find places that actually checked for a byte array. I found it in the Casper costing, and I found it here. And this is what? This is in reduced spec.scala. So
yeah, this is test, but yeah, this is the 2-byte array function, and 2-byte array is available to on any process. So this is the difference, because some methods are only available on strings or some specific type, but there is a function that are available on any type.
So what I should have been looking for was something that only applies to strings.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with this part of the code, so I would be looking in the same way. So this div is also probably maybe on a map or something.
What's this? 2 UTF 8 bytes?
This is probably on the string. Can you scroll up a little, just that we see the signature? So where is the definition on which? This is also available to any process, I think, because the par is the first argument on the apply function.
Right.
So what we are doing here, we are implementing method trait. This method is probably the trait. And we are implementing this method trait, this interface, with only one function, this apply. And the first argument is the process, and all the other arguments are as a sequence.
Okay.
So for example, hex 2 bytes expects only single expression in the P, and P is the par. So we are expecting in 878 line, we are expecting only single expression, and this expression must be a string.
So what I should have been looking for here was hexabytes. Oh, not hexabytes cost. I really wanted quotes around it, but I can't seem to do that kind of search. I can
no,
I can put in quotes. I can protect the quote. Oops. Well, I know it won't work. So somewhere in the code, there's probably a lot of pages of code here. And we got a lot of rolang code matching, but we only have 3 pages.
So I think it is here.
Want to share your screen?
I pasted the link in the chat, so you can open in the browser.
Okay, I guess this is pretty much where I was. Oh, this is cost spec.
spec is the test. Can you open the link from the chat? So you will see a slice function on the string, but also not on the string, also on the list or the array. So this is the slice function, which accepts expression, which can be many types, right? But here we are matching on the string, on the list, or the array. And if you write in rolang dot slice with these arguments, this will work for these three types. So if we create another function that accepts string and whatever, we can create another function in rolang. So we are just mapping whatever we are parsing in rolang after the dot with the definition somewhere in the code, with the definition of the name of the function that we want.
What I haven't been able to find easily, and if I used IntelliJ, I guess I could find it easily. Maybe is where this is called. Where is slice called? Where's the list of functions that can be done?
So yeah, if you think about how to structure the code in such a situation, right? So you probably you will not have directly calling this slice function. It probably there will be some kind of mapping of the names of the functions to some kind of Scala code, Scala function.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for here.
So I can see where this slice function is used. It is used. So the slice function that you opened is a private function. Is not directly called. It is used in the implementation of the method, which is below the slice function.
But you would think somewhere this string next to bytes has to be, and it has to recognize that string in order for it to call the slice function, or in this case, the hex to bytes function.
It's in the same file. In line 1395 is the map.
1355.
1395. Here.
Aha.
Here is exactly this map that I was thinking of. I was not aware of this map, but yeah, this is how you connect.
Okay, I'm going to copy a permalink here. Okay, this is the list, and I'm going to go back
so this
here
list
to
doesn't
the
tell you
rolang channel, and here are the functions.
Or methods. Like methods are correct. Yeah, when they are objects. Yeah, to be correct. Or you have typo on the. Okay. So now in this map, we don't know exactly which method is on which type. So first we will match this method exists, and after we call this function, we will see, oh, this is not the correct type, right? So this is just the functions. Like this is not the functions. This is the map of the methods, right? We are implementing this method trait. So we need to convert
Interesting.
From rolang parser, we will get a string information for the name of this method.
So
then we are matching this.
All you have to do is add the string methods we want to this list, to this map, and write the function that just calls that function in Scala, right?
Yeah, exactly. But we have this overhead of defining, each of these functions to say, oh, I need to put this string in the list. I need to implement this method trait. This, you need to follow all of the procedures. And of course, we can do this more easily, right? We can write more generic code in Scala.
But basically, if we look at hex to bytes and we do everything the same way, we should be able to, do any string function. Now, the challenging thing is to implement regular expressions.
Oh, not at all. It's only complication can be the return type. What are you returning, right? You need to convert because I'm not sure what you get from regex expression. You probably get some kind of object that you need to convert to something that is understandable in rolang. But it should be in the same way. You are just defining function.
You can do functions easily. You can do, we can support the different functions fairly easily. I mean, I guess a regular expression can return a lot of stuff, so that's a little bit messy, but it's basically, if we just think of it as JSON, it's not a big problem. We just pull out what we want from it.
Yeah. We can convert this to a list or map or, a list of matches and, this kind of thing.
Right. But I guess what I was saying, for regular expressions, we would want to be able to, express regular expressions that match processes rather than strings.
But for that you have match.
That's a challenge.
But you mean extending existing matching, or because with existing matching you are matching the processes, right?
Right. Okay. Is the existing match complete? Is it
Yeah. So yeah, you maybe think about some kind of a match pattern that has regex inside that matches string inside the pattern, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I have a question.
This is more like optimization. Yeah, sure.
I have a question about pattern matching because I don't use it yet, but I think I should. Is it possible to match, for example, I receive a process and I want to make sure that it is a map with key A and key B and string as values for those two keys. Is it already okay to do that with pattern matching?
I would say yes. And you need to match, if you want to match exactly the same map, this should work because we have structural equivalence. But also you can match with all of the rest, right? You can assign the variable to all of the rest elements in the map. This should also work. So you can match a map with these two keys, but also with some other keys.
Okay. So maybe I ask a question when I add this to my contract. Nice.
Okay.
Thanks.
For that purpose is 3 dots to say I have the rest of the list or the rest of the map. This should work, but of course maybe it's not implemented in full in all the cases. Yeah, I wanted to say for blockchain we are really strict. So we must explicitly say what methods are available on which types, and this must be very strict. But on evaluator side, we are just executing rolang. So we can say, oh, if this function exists on the Scala string, you can call it, right? So we can be like completely dynamic.
Oh yes, I see. Yes.
So we can think in the future we can extend rolang in this way, but still keep the blockchain very strict, and because on the blockchain all the execution must be the same, so we cannot play with.
Yeah, yeah.
We must version everything. Yeah.
That's a good idea to extend as much as possible the differentiation between read-only and validators.
So here's an example of a match. For each element of a collection, execute this code, which does
okay.
It defines a loop,
yes.
and then it executes. It sends the collection to the loop. But this has the match in it for the key and the value, and the tail, the rest in the maps.
But so the first one matches with an empty map, and the second one it needs a key that is underscore key, right?
That's the name I just invented. I just invented that name, and I use an underscore because it's an internal function, and I don't want them to use that name internal to the macro for each. So I do an underscore so that won't conflict with the name that the user is using in their code. I don't know if it's macros. So it substitutes. But yeah, this is, I could have put.
This is what I need. And just type keys and
Jim.
Yeah, I think you can do exactly the same as you can do with other matching, right? I think you can specify the type for the keys, and it should work, but I'm not completely sure. I didn't try it.
How do you write it? You write a string. So I need to find examples, or I need to try out the code you just showed.
Well, you understand, I'm introducing the name key. It's a free variable, underscore key. I'm making that name. And then I'm also going to get match against, I'm also going to give the name underscore value to what matches the value.
Okay. But you could put a string instead of key and value.
Yeah, I could put a string.
Okay.
Constant value. But, I'm matching any key value pair because the map was something that's input to me.
So this is like taking one key and then processing, and then you have the tail, and then you take the second key and iterating.
Right. Where all the rest of the items are sent to the loop, which then goes through one more item, and then the rest of them, the tail, is sent to the loop, right?
I'm not sure what are you matching when you have non-empty list. What is the underscore key?
What are you talking about here?
No. In the case where you're matching list.
Oh, here.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
And
say end key. What you will
That's
watch?
very interesting.
I'm not sure. Key.
That's kind of weird. Oh, I see. It's just assigning a name. Wait.
What you will have in this name?
Key, it's not. Oh, key.
But this compiles, right?
Yeah, I mean, this should work. So, that look right? It should be $1 for each. Oh, I can't do that. That should work.
Okay.
I forgot to put the
Oh, about, right?
no. Key and key. There definitely was a reason. I mean, I wrote this. I should know why I put the end underscore key there. Wrong number of arguments for each. Collection code. For each, undefined. That's one argument.
Yeah.
That's two arguments. Huh. Well, I can't debug this right now. But I'd never had a problem with it before.
I don't see, yeah, what is the problem.
But it basically should print out, to the standard output each of the numbers. And in this case, there is no key, so it would just have a value. But if it had a key and a value, I could include underscore key and underscore value in my. In other words, I'm passing an actual program here. Okay, a process, which is going to execute for each value in the list.
And this will be replaced with the code. Oh yeah, so you have underscore value in the scope.
Right. So oh, I know what's wrong. It's yeah, it's a problem with the macro processor. Basically, what the C preprocessor does is it sees these commas in the 2, 3, 4, and it thinks that I'm passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arguments to this for each.
Maybe you can try with only one argument, one element in the array, in the list.
I think if I put them, can I put this in parentheses?
You can try with one element, just to see that it's working.
Right, that's true. But how can I not change this without, and add a, no. Oops. Does that change anything? I don't know. I should have listened to you. Yeah, didn't work. Oops.
I can try. I have written a small match. Okay.
Yeah, I know what's wrong. I mean, it's just the commas. I forget how to get around that.
Yeah.
But it's clearly running, and I'll have to think of what
will be in this key. Yeah. Maybe just nil or.
Oh, okay. You know why I needed the key? Put the key there. Otherwise, a key would not be. I can't have key not have a value. So I'm giving a name underscore key to this as also.
Oh, so if you are mentioning in your code the key, so you have something. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if I don't mention the key, I still I got a problem. Yeah. So
this is probably nil.
That's just an artifact of this being a macro.
Yeah. Rafael, do you want to show us what you wrote?
Yeah.
Can I run it? No. How does the robot testing work? Yes, I can show you. But I think it's better to run it outside of VS Code if I don't want my computer to crash again. Okay.
You forgot the colon.
And how do you deal with the colon right here before the no? So but I can show you it. So basically, so let me just check one thing. So 1 second.
Where is this mountain that you have on the desktop?
Okay. So I have this file match. So I send this value to a channel.
Okay.
And I check it against this pattern.
Yeah, it should match, right?
Okay, so let's try it. So
can you just eval so you don't need to deploy?
I can just eval.
Yeah.
Yes, eval. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, that's great. And then so this is a
maybe you can match with the string. Maybe you can say v and string for the value, right?
Like this.
Yeah, but you need to use rolling and for and. This is like type, but not Boolean. And this and with slash and backslash. This is like type level operation. So variable and string. This is the same thing, but you also you can use the variable.
Okay.
Now you don't know what is matched, so you can assign the variable and then you can.
No, that I think I'm doing. I think this contract is it does not do persistent listening.
Yes. You can. Yeah, you can correct it too.
So I must do how do
with equal sign arrow, yes. But you know with equal.
Oh shit!
Oops.
Oh snap! Okay, hop, ça va être bon.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Let's see. Something wrong.
Yeah, you have closing braces double, I think, right? This is for that. Yeah, this one at the end.
This one is.
Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect. So basically,
Yep.
I will add this to the names contract and to the files module. So that's perfect,
Nice.
yes. Because right now it's a bit dangerous because I'm not checking payload. I assume them to have the correct structure. For example, names. And this way I will be able to type check, to kind of, yes, to type check on execution time all the payloads I receive. So that's great. So I think I will do it in this entry because everything comes here. And after having checked the payload, I can send it to the proper channel.
Oh, so yeah. So action is a map. No. Yeah, action is a map, right?
Yes, it's a map. It needs a type, which is a string, and depending on the channel, it needs other data.
So yeah, you can match directly on action, right?
Yes, I will create a big match on the payload because it's what I send. For example, if we take a look at create, the payload must have a name, which is a string. It must also have a public key, a deployer ID that must be a deployer ID, but when I switch to parse behavior, I won't need this deployer ID. So this is the thing we talked about. So basically, yes, I need name and public key and eventually blockchain address, but it is not mandatory. Okay, so great. This is great.
Cool. And this is some kind of optimization, right? Because you are doing the same thing. You're matching on the type, and then you want to have create, update, change price, right? So this is a more succinct way to define the same thing, right? You're directly matching and you know, accessing the variables.
Yeah, because the thing is that you can do very weird stuff right now. For example, you can put a number as a public key, but this means that the name you won't be able to update it anymore anytime because the next signature will never be valid. So it's still a cool thing to kind of check the values.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
So it does not crash. Okay, so nice.
Great.
Cool.
All right. Any other final thoughts or questions? Okay. All right. Well, have a great week, everyone, and I'm excited about the RChain Scala educational series. So that's going to be great. All right. Well, Jim, you just came back. I think we're done for the day. So we'll see everyone back here next week.
Right.
Okay, see you.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye-bye.